Just like everyone else, I eagerly anticipate the start of every Formula One season. However, during the break, I find myself delving into old races. What caught my attention was the revelation that many of the companies that once sponsored these cars have disappeared. It seems that questionable finances have long been intertwined with Formula One's history. With a massive audience of 500 million viewers, it's no surprise that dubious entities are keen to have their names plastered on the sides of race cars. But who are these companies? Are they even legitimate? And where does their funding come from? In this video, we'll explore some of the most dubious and downright unbelievable companies involved in Formula One racing. And yes, brace yourselves because there's even a Nigerian prince involved with one of them. It's sure to be a wild ride. The expenses associated with racing are staggering. Formula One teams need hundreds of millions of dollars to stay competitive each season. The level of funding a team manages to secure directly impacts its success rate, aligning with the basic principle of more money, better engines, better drivers. This financial dynamic isn't unique to F1. It's a common trend in many sports. While FIA, the governing body of F1, rigorously regulates car technology to ensure fairness on the track, they historically haven't intervened much in balancing the financial disparities among teams. This mirrors the situation in American sports, where small market teams often operate with smaller budgets compared to their big market counterparts, like the Yankees versus the Orioles or the Lakers versus the Kings. At the start of 2021, Formula One implemented a budget cap for the first time, aiming to address this issue. However, historically, there has been a significant gap between the budgets of top-earning teams and the rest. For instance, in 2019, Mercedes Petronas spent a whopping $484 million, nearly 3 times more than what the Williams team spent in the same period. Williams' budget decreased from the previous year due to losing their title sponsor, Martini and Rossi, a vermouth producing company. Despite facing a significant budget gap of $350 million compared to Mercedes, Williams still has to compete fiercely in Formula One. Losing a sponsor can severely impact or even spell doom for teams, leading them to seek backing from less reputable sources at times. One notorious example that Formula One enthusiasts might recall is the debacle involving Rich Energy. The only American-owned team in Formula One, Haas, found themselves entangled in a shady sponsorship situation in 2019. Rich Energy, a flashy new energy drink with a distinctive antler logo, became the title sponsor for the Haas team. However, their credibility was questioned when another F1 team, Force India, dismissed them for lacking substance, opting instead for the financial support of Canadian billionaire Lawrence Stroll. Interestingly, Williams was on the brink of finalizing a deal with Rich Energy, but they failed to show up for a scheduled meeting. Allegedly, the CEO of Rich Energy, also a roadie for Imagine Dragons, arranged the meeting but didn't attend it. Subsequently, news broke that they had signed with Haas, which should have raised red flags. Adding to the skepticism, during the 2019 season, fans on F1 forums and Reddit noticed the absence of any physical Rich Energy products. When questioned about the legitimacy of his company, the CEO's response, likening doubting their existence to questioning the moon landing or Elvis's death, only further bewildered everyone. Then, someone uncovered financial statements from the company revealing that their bank account held a mere 581 British pounds or $770 in total. Perhaps the strangest twist occurred on July 10, 2019, when the CEO went rogue and tweeted, "Today, Rich Energy terminated our contract with Haas F1 for poor performance." It seemed like they tried to avoid being fired by quitting first. This announcement caught Haas and even Rich Energy off guard, with the latter attempting to distance themselves from the CEO's actions, labeling him a rogue individual. The entire ordeal exposed that Rich Energy never fulfilled their end of the deal, likely due to their paltry account balance. Consequently, Haas found themselves at a disadvantage, having to complete the season with one less sponsor. Subsequently, Rich Energy faced legal trouble over their antler logo, leading to a court order to pay White Bikes $30,000 in damages, which they never paid. However, this wasn't Formula One's first brush with an energy drink debacle. Back in the 1999 season, a mysterious Nigerian prince and a counterfeit energy drink caused an F1 team to go bankrupt. It sounds like something out of fiction, but it's true. The 53rd Formula One season kicked off in 1999 with Mika Hakkinen defending his World Championship title with McLaren while Michael Schumacher was recovering from a broken leg. Meanwhile, the Arrows team was grappling with financial difficulties. Enter Prince Malik Ado Ibrahim, who offered Arrows a whopping $125 million to sponsor a team in desperate need of cash. This injection of funds had the potential to completely change Arrows' fortunes. So, team manager Tom Walkinshaw agreed to let the Prince bankroll Arrows for the 1999 season. That year, the sponsorship was shared with Repsol, resulting in a striking car design painted in half Repsol orange and half black with a T- logo. It was certainly a unique look that drew attention, with Prince Malik frequently seen in the paddock, surrounded by cameras, basking in the limelight, and promoting his brand, T-. But what exactly was T-? It was intended to be many things: an energy drink, a motorcycle brand, and more, but in the end, it failed to materialize into anything substantial. The plan was to debut the brand in Formula One and then expand into various products like energy drinks, motorcycles, and even rebranded Lamborghini. However, despite manufacturing some energy drinks, T- failed to generate profits. By the end of the 1999 season, Prince Malik had disappeared, making it impossible to reach him for the purchase of his shares. Eventually, an investment firm, Morgan Grenfell, acquired his shares through legal action, further complicating matters. Arrows had fallen victim to a real-life Nigerian prince scheme, and the loss of this funding ultimately led to the team's closure in 2002. So, what became of Prince Malik? Well, he resurfaced a few years later to sponsor a NASCAR driver, but we'll delve into that story later on. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on our uploads. Speaking of logos, one of the T- logos got me thinking about a more recent one, Mission Winnow, seen on Ferrari's car. Personally, I think it looks pretty cool. But what exactly is Mission Winnow? Well, it's got nothing to do with flour mills despite its name resembling a milling process. Their website is quite vague, filled with generic business jargon that almost seems like a parody of corporate speak. It's all about innovating, investing, and bringing people together. You know the drill. But after some digging, it turns out Mission Winnow is essentially a front for Philip Morris International, the folks behind Marlboro cigarettes. PMI has had a long history in Formula One, but after tobacco sponsorships were banned in 2006, Mission Winnow emerged as a way for them to stay involved without directly promoting tobacco products. It's essentially a form of corporate social responsibility, aimed at improving the public image of the corporation. In simpler terms, it's all about PR. This isn't the first time Philip Morris has played a little tricky in Formula One. Fans might recall the barcode logo on Ferrari cars from about a decade ago. That was Marlboro's attempt at being sneaky, but watchdog groups quickly caught on. At a standstill, it looked like nothing more than vertical lines, but at high speeds, it resembled the Marlboro chevron. Similarly, the Mission Winnow logo is essentially just the Marlboro chevron turned sideways with the same dimensions and shapes. It's a clever way for Marlboro to maintain a presence in Formula One without directly participating. Essentially, it's a loophole, one that the World Health Organization is aiming to close soon. At the 2019 Australian Grand Prix, Ferrari had to remove the Mission Winnow logo from their wings due to Australia's strict tobacco advertising laws. And it wasn't just Australia. Ferrari had to remove Mission Winnow advertising from 11 out of the 21 races in 2019. Looks like their advertising strategies hit a roadblock. This situation might be a glimpse into the future. Ferrari isn't the sole team with a tobacco sponsor. McLaren is backed by A Better Tomorrow, owned by British American Tobacco. McLaren also faced the need to remove their advertising before the Australian Grand Prix. It's somewhat shady, but in a cunning way, it's rather ingenious. What Philip Morris is executing with Mission Winnow is essentially guerrilla advertising. It sparks conversations. I mean, here I am making a video about it. They've succeeded, clearly. By prominently displaying an intriguing logo on their car that has nothing to do with cigarettes, Philip Morris grabs attention. People get wind of it, they raise objections, and yet Philip Morris reaps free publicity because humans are naturally curious beings. During the Austrian Grand Prix in 2018, viewers were puzzled by the banners and advertisements for iTime, the event's title sponsor, as no one seemed familiar with the company. At a conference, the CEO, Magdalena Krumova, hyped up the iTime app as a groundbreaking social platform, emphasizing its up-to-date features. But what exactly is iTime? Well, it started off as a messaging app similar to WhatsApp, but it soon revealed itself to be a multi-level marketing or pyramid scheme. Despite being active, their actual operations remain shrouded in mystery. Krumova has a history of starting other pyramid schemes under names like Lioness and My World, which also dabbled in event sponsorship for a while. Lioness even faced a ban from conducting business in Norway, which doesn't exactly inspire confidence in their products or practices. Formula One tends to draw in a particular crowd, wealthy older gentlemen. That's likely why one of the sponsors for the 2018 Singapore Grand Prix was Sugarbook, a dating app that catered to matching younger sugar babies with older affluent men. While they didn't directly sponsor a car, Sugarbook was slated to co-sponsor a party at a bar hosted by Williams' title sponsor, Martini. However, the event got scrapped, possibly due to the potential PR disaster it would have been for Martini and Williams. It's a good moment to touch on ethics in F1. Despite being a billion-dollar multinational corporation, Formula One often gets away with less than ideal practices. It's a sport that lives in a strange duality. On one side, it's a prestigious sport, second only to football in popularity. But on the other, it's rife with sleazy sponsorships, cutthroat behavior, and sometimes a disregard for human rights. Unfortunately, this has been the norm for quite some time. While it's a heavy and contentious topic, when the governing body of a sport sometimes lacks moral integrity, a shady sponsor doesn't seem like the end of the world. It's perhaps why Formula One attracts its fair share of them. Anytime you're dealing with an organization worth billions, there are bound to be some questionable practices if you look deep enough. So what happened to Prince Malik after his involvement with the Arrows team in 1999? Well, he resurfaced in the US in 2005, this time to sponsor NASCAR Busch Series driver Robert Richardson Jr. Allegations surfaced that Prince Malik had stolen $750,000 from Richardson's father. Although he was acquitted of these charges, Prince Malik found himself behind bars in Texas for perjury. These days, he's back in Nigeria and far removed from the racing scene. It's a reminder to stay focused on legitimate endeavors and avoid dishonest practices. Despite these shady episodes, my love for Formula One remains unwavering. I'll continue to follow it, eagerly awaiting the new season. When you have such immense wealth and global attention concentrated in one place, it's inevitable that some unsavory characters will try to capitalize on it.